next question is on population policy. What is your view on abortion in relation to development?
They're very challenging question before the eyes of the supporters or opposition to RH controversial bill. I have been saying Brother Eddie is against all forms of abortion because abortion per se is murder. And if we tolerate abortion, the nation will be inviting curses and the people will suffer. However, I am in favor of sound family planning, responsible parenthood, parenthood system, and we should not allow reckless. I would say I'm against reckless production of babies when the economy is bankrupt, like what happened in the history of South Korea. It is now noted in the history of South Korea, when South Korea was economically bankrupt, financially bankrupt, the government was encouraging every family to produce only one child. But after a while, because of massive prayer movement of South Korea had experienced the so-called booming economy that the government doesn't know what to do with their so much money. And they are now encouraging the Korean families to produce more children. And those who produce more children will be rewarded more by the government. In other words, we have to be to exercise wisdom in managing the population of our country based on righteous, I would say, righteous principles. In other words, I believe in my heart that we cannot sacrifice development at the same time helping the families to produce the number of children that they want to produce so that they can be guided accordingly through education, that the future of their children would not be sacrificed.
But so are you saying that you are against RH bill?
I'm not saying that I am against RH bill.
So
As a matter of fact, I already made.
You are for RH bill?
I already made a official statement a few months ago that if ever I am elected as president, I will immediately order the comprehensive review of the said controversial bill. Now, those provisions which are against the moral culture of the Filipino people, and especially against the will and commandments of our God, being acknowledged in the very preamble of the Philippine Constitution, I will fight for the elimination or revision or improvement of such provisions.
Which are the particular?
In particular, I was informed that 5-year-old and 10-year-old children are compelled to undergo a seminar or a teaching in elementary, that they have the right, it is their human rights to enjoy the pleasure of sex. I was informed 5 and 10, 5 and 10. So
I think it's just sex education, but not.
I was informed by a lawyer. Another one is this: if an employer failed to provide what we call this instruments or to provide the specific example he shared to me, to provide, for instance, condom. The employer failed to provide to his employees, the employer will be penalized even by imprisonment. If that is true, because I got no time to read the whole RH bill, that's why my point is I will immediately order no-nonsense comprehensive review of RH bill. But I'm all out in crafting a bill or a law that will really help the families in our country, giving protection to women, to children, and at the same time without violating the laws on morality and the laws of God.
So in short, you're still for the RH bill, but you will revise it. You will revise the RH bill.
Well, I'm against on the reported sum provisions, but I am
But it will
absolutely
still stay.
supporting what we call no-nonsense, sound family planning, and responsible parenthood policy.
So in that case, like right now you're not yet president and then you don't have time to read the comprehensive thing. How about when you become president and there are so many things to read about? Will
No.
you delegate them to your people who will?
No, definitely I will order the Secretary of Health to form a what we call this a special committee that will not be biased on political and religious persuasions. I am after a no-nonsense study without being affected by political and religious persuasions. I can assure our people, Brother Eddie is after the maximization of benefits for the families, for the mothers, for the children, without, of course, violating moral laws clearly stated in the good book. Some people are saying, why be affected by the good book? You ask the framers of our Constitution why they specifically said that the sovereign Filipino people acknowledge the existence of the Supreme Being, the Almighty God, by saying that we, the Filipino people, are imploring the aid of Almighty God. And that was clearly stated in the Philippine Constitution as part of the preamble. Probably if I'm still an atheist like before, I may disregard the word God. But the Philippines is known as the first Christian country in Asia in history, and the first democratic republican state in Asia historically. Besides, I fully understand, once we disregard God, we will be inviting curses, not only for ourselves, but even for our children and for our children's children. Because it's very clear, curses are being inherited as blessings are being inherited.